Hello again, Mesmer students. We're here for first through third grade gym again. Today we're going to advance our hand-eye coordination that we started to work on last week. Today I'm here at the school, in the gym all by myself. There's a few things set up, but we're here to practice a little bit more of our hand-eye coordination. So last week we had some different kind of balls. They were very soft. We were working inside the house probably. Today we're going to do that again, but we're going to advance what we're doing. So to start with, everybody, first, second, and third grade can do these things. But we're going to start out where I expect the first graders to be. And if you can't do this, first graders, that's totally okay. Just keep working at it. We're going to review a little bit from last week, where we started with one ball, and we may have started with two hands. So if this is where we have to start, that's totally fine. If we got a ball, two hands, and we're going to toss it up a little bit and catch it with two hands. That should be pretty easy. I think all of our first graders should be able to do that. If you can't, just keep working on it. Then we're going to try just with one hand. So if you have one soft ball, and the softer, the easier it's going to be to catch because it's going to float a little slower. We're just tossing it up with one hand and catching it, keeping our eye on the ball. Not a big toss. We're not tossing it way up to the ceiling. We're keeping it right in front of us. We want to try with one hand, and we also want to try with the other hand. Little tosses, trying to catch it as many times as you can. If you want to challenge yourself, you can see how many in a row you can catch. So now we're going to add something. This is especially for our first graders, but everybody can do this for a warm-up and to get going back and forth, is just take that one ball and we're going to go back and forth from one hand to the other. This might be a little bit more difficult for first graders, second and third graders. I expect you probably to be able to do this already, but if you can't, great warm-up. Good way to start, back and forth between two hands, keeping your eye on that ball. Now, first grade, if that was super easy for you, I want you to continue working on what I'm going to talk about now. If that wasn't the easiest for you, keep doing that, keep practicing, try to get better at the one hand, back and forth between the two. So now second and third grade, if that was super easy, that's okay. Now we're going to add on a little bit. We're going to take this one ball, we're going to take two balls now, and we're going to toss them in a circle. So what you're going to see is you're going to see the ball go from this hand over to this hand, and as it's in the air, I'm going to hand this ball over. So it should look like this. Start slow, it'll be easier. So watch the circle, it's going to go like this. Here we go. This is kind of the beginning of juggling. You might call this juggling with just two instead of three. Notice how I'm going very slow. While this one's in the air, I just hand it off. So I'm watching the one that goes up. Here we go. My eyes are really staying on that one up in the air. But it's almost like I'm juggling two ball. And if you get better at it, you can start going a little bit faster. Second graders and third graders, keeping your eyes on those. I don't expect you to be able to go that fast, but let's add to it a little bit. Start slow once again. Start one in each hand. Toss up and hand it over. You don't have to watch the one that's low. Watch the one that's up in the air all the way to your hand. Keep your eyes on the ball. Now, second and third, if that was really easy, even first graders, if you could do that, we're going to add it on a little bit more this week, and we're going to try to challenge you a little bit. I'm going to switch to a little bit more of a ball. That was kind of like a little fluff balls. This week, we're going to add something a little bit different. So we were just throwing it in a circle. Now, I want you to focus on both hands working. We're going to do one at a time, so start slow, and if you feel comfortable, you can start going faster. So we're going to keep the blue one right here in this hand, and the red one right here in this hand. But we're going to alternate. That means it goes back and forth. So watch what we're going to do. We're going to go one hand toss, one hand toss, one hand toss. This makes you work on both hands equally, both sides of your body. And as you get a little bit better with it, go a little bit faster and see how many you can do in a row without messing up. Back and forth. It's not exchanging sides. Keep one on each side. Keep the blue on this side or whatever ball you have in that hand, and keep the red or whatever ball you have in this hand. They don't have to be the same size. They can be totally different, but try to find two soft balls if you're going inside the house to do this. Now, a little bit of bonus, something you could do this week, especially if the weather stays nice, is find a family member, find a friend, go outside and just play catch. And if you can't find a friend, if somebody's not around, but the weather's nice and you just want to go outside to spend some time, if you find a good wall, not on the side of the house, we're not banging on the side of the house, but maybe a garage or maybe even in a basement, you could find a sidewall, you can play catch with yourself. So if you got one ball and a good wall, you can bounce it right off and practice catching with yourself. A good game of catch is always fun. If this is super easy for you and you want to try to challenge yourself a little bit, try to catch just with one hand. It has to be a soft throw, try to stay close to the wall, but if I'm going to throw it here, I might try to catch it just with that hand. This is probably more of just for third graders to challenge themselves. If you got it, all the other stuff we've worked on really down, and then you can switch hands. Try to catch it just with one hand or go back and forth. Really keeping your eye on the ball. So that's just a little bonus add. If everything we talked about was super easy, your hand-eye coordination is good. I hope you guys all had a good week, and we'll see you next week.